Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Commencement at Carnegie Mellon University. The procession will begin at 10:15. Please be seated at this time. It is important that the track and the aisles remain clear for the procession. Programs for the main ceremony are available at each stadium entrance. The ceremony will be simulcast to a number of locations in the Cohen University Center. If you require emergency help, including medical assistance, please notify a university police officer or a commencement volunteer wearing a red t-shirt. A first aid station is located on the left side of the stadium near the soccer field. In the event of an evacuation, please proceed to the nearest exit, marked by arrows on the map. To protect the track and field, food and beverages other than water are not permitted. Free bottled water is available in the end zone areas and at the concession stands under the bleachers. Gessling Stadium is a smoke-free environment. Stadium restrooms are located near the concession stands under the bleachers. Additional restrooms are available in the Cohen University Center and in residence halls behind the commencement stage. After the ceremony has ended, please remain in your seats until the platform group has exited the stadium. Please determine where you need to go after the ceremony and follow the appropriate exit route indicated by signage and the maps within the CMU Events app and on screen. Shuttle bus service will be available to take guests to and from off-campus diploma ceremonies. Shuttles will leave from Margaret Morrison Street following the main commencement ceremony. They run on a loop and stop at all destinations. Walking and driving directions to off-campus diploma ceremonies are available at the welcome area in the Cohen University Center and in the app Events at Carnegie Mellon University. Lost and Found is located in the Cohen University Center at the information desk. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to Commencement at Carnegie Mellon University.
The makers, the dreamers, the scientists, the artists, the researchers, the engineers, the challengers, the game changers, the fearless.
Today, we work.
The myth debunkers, securers of cyberspace, and drivers of the driverless, the climate leaders, the energy shapers, and frontliners of artificial intelligence.
Today, we work.
The founders of new fields. The bosses of brain science, the smarts behind smart cities, the industry disruptors, pioneers of planetary robotics, and architects of what's next.
Today, we live it,
Breathe it,
Love it.
write it,
Rewrite it.
nail it, attack,
move,
Groove.
start up,
Start over.
tinker,
Imagine. And dare. Today, we work.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 122nd edition of Commencement here at Carnegie Mellon University. My name is Jason Mader, and if you're wondering where might this guy be, beside from the Jumbotron, I'm up here on the stage. And this is our pre-show, if you will. After all, what would you expect from a university that has one of the best schools of drama in the entire world? Kind of our red carpet show. This is our opportunity to introduce you to some of the students who are graduating today. We'll have videos up here. We'll talk to some of the students on the big board, but mostly give you an opportunity to see what this place that your loved ones have called home for many years is all about. We encourage you to participate with us on social media. So get out those phones every now and then and hit us up on Instagram, on Twitter, and our hashtag of the weekend is at CMU Grad, hashtag CMU Grad. You can find us at Carnegie Mellon on Instagram and Twitter. And later on in the program, we'll actually show some of those posts up on the big screen. Here's something else you can do with that phone. Make sure to download the app, the Carnegie Mellon University Events app. That's where you can get your latest schedule of events, the maps, everything you need to know, including if there are some last-second announcements that you need to know. But our main thing until we see the students in the next 70 minutes or so is to give you a sense of what this place is all about. So we're going to talk to students about some of the great traditions here at Carnegie Mellon. We're going to talk to one student who, when he was a high school senior, he got an acceptance letter and he thought it was a mistake. It was a mistake. He's graduating with honors today. And we'll also talk to some of the student athletes who are graduating. So with that, again, my name is Jason Mader from Marketing and Communications, and let's start our program by turning it over to our first student here on stage, and her name is Graciela Garcia. Graciela is a first-generation student, and if you don't know what a first-gen student is, it means that she's the first in her family to come to college, and the first now to graduate from college. Graciela, what is it like to represent your family and be a trailblazer?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. College was not a thing for my family. I wasn't sure what to be expecting. And I get here, and there's, 6,400 people, undergraduate students, and I'm just one of them. It was an incredible experience now to be able to graduate, and my degree is not just for me, it's for my family, and they know that anything is possible regardless of your background.
Information systems is your major. How did you even decide to come to college? And once you got here, who did you depend on for support, considering that no one had done this before?
Yeah. So I definitely came to college because of my mom. Like, she always knew that education was important, and so that was something that was always instilled into me when I was very young. And so I did a lot of programs over the summer and then realized I wanted to do IS as a degree, and I was Googling, and CMU came up, and I was like, okay, I want to go there. And so I got the big fat letter, and it was great. And then once here, it was the staff at the Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion that just supported me and welcomed me and just have been my family here for these past 4 years.
How about this? First in her family to graduate, and where is going to be your first job out of college?
I'm working at Apple as an engineering project manager. Dream job, dream company. I'm super excited.
All right, so you talked a little bit about your family. Let us bring in your mother, Paloma. Paloma, what are your emotions like to watch your daughter graduate?
For me, today is an important day. I never thought like we're going to be here in the stage. I always want to say thank God, because He always make our dreams come true. And always my best word to America is God bless America. Because this great opportunity, God bless the school, all the teachers, all the professors who work with beautiful heart, with integrity. Oh my God. Thank you so much for all the support with us. God bless you.
Paloma Garcia is Graciela's mother. Ivan, by the way, was hanging here to interpret her because she wasn't sure if she'd pull it off in English. She did. You were unneeded, Ivan. All right, so if that's not enough, mother, older daughter, and Ariana is here. So she's the younger sister. If Graciela is the first in her family to go to college, Ariana will be the second in her family to go to college. I assume big sister was a big reason why.
Definitely. My sister was the first one to teach me how to read. She was the first one to teach me English in a primarily Spanish-speaking environment of our household. But she also taught me that oftentimes as humans, we fill ourselves with self-doubt, we fill ourselves with anger or resentment, thinking that we can't reach a certain goal, we can't reach our dreams. And she has never let that become an obstacle for her. Her character has always opened doors for her, and I'm very proud to be her sister, and I'm very proud of where she has been able to come this far, to be able to come to Carnegie Mellon. I'm very proud of her.
And where will you go to college?
I will be a future Tartan. I will be coming to Carnegie Mellon as well. I'm very excited.
All right, walk on over here. Our last question. Big sis, any advice for little sis?
Yeah, always just be your most authentic self. Never be ashamed of where you're coming from, because you can do whatever it is that you want to do. do it all with integrity, with humility, and you'll go far.
All right, from one sis to another. So Graciela, Information Systems, first-gen student. Paloma's her mother. She nearly cried. It was nearly great TV. And Ariana, the sister. That's the Garcia family. And so these are the types of students that we have here at Carnegie Mellon. Up next, we're going to talk about students who went all over the world to make sure that their impact wasn't just felt here in Pittsburgh. In a moment, an architecture student who took her thesis and put it into action to design a teaching hospital in Haiti. But up next, we have an organization here on campus called Engineers Without Borders that is dedicated to erasing poverty around the world. And its leader will graduate here in the stadium. This is Christina O.
I'm Christina O. I'm majoring in electrical and computer engineering. I wanted to be an engineer because I really liked problem solving and I really wanted to help make a change in the world. I wanted to get involved with Engineers Without Borders since it was a service-based organization that was using a lot of engineering background and knowledge, and I was really interested in the Zimbabwe project because they work with the community in Nigeria, Zimbabwe. So our first project was on a lighting system for the community. The electricity is really inconsistent, so the night times can be really dark there. Our project was to figure out a sort of lighting system and install lights along the main mountain in the community. So we eventually developed and built out in Fund Rose a system of 24 solar streetlights, and we installed them along with windows in the community. This project was really meaningful to me just because we were helping real people in a real community. I actually got the opportunity to travel to Nigeria, Zimbabwe. We got to see the fruits of that project. We got to see the lights that were actually installed there, and it was amazing to see the results of all of our work, and it was really well received, and that was just really incredible for me. It's been really rewarding to kind of see all the pieces come together and see everyone working towards projects they're passionate about. I think that CMU has really equipped me well to kind of deal with any sort of technical challenges that may come my way, but also to do so in a very thoughtful and human way as well. After graduation, I also want to kind of be able to be impactful and create a positive experience in whichever spheres I am a part of.
My name is Nikita Bhagwat. I'll be graduating with an MA degree, that's the Masters of Architecture. My project here is an independent thesis project about building what's called a teaching hospital in a village called Nepli in Haiti. It merges a healthcare facility which has all of the normal healthcare operations and programs that any hospital might have, an urgent care facility, a pediatric facility, an outpatient facility. But that is also merging with a medical school that's mainly meant for the youth of the village so that they aid in the development of the village through education and higher education and more better healthcare facilities. I was involved in the design process of the entire facility in a very, very in-depth fashion. So this is a documentation of my design all the way to the building level and as large as the site plan level. I actually pursued something like this because I was always interested in the field of public interest design, and healthcare was something that I was quite familiar with through my earlier projects but on a smaller scale, and this really made me believe that I would like to pursue something similar to this field. And I feel extremely fulfilled just because this is a real project that might get built someday. To some degree, maybe not the same design that I incorporated, but I'm pretty sure that my research is going to be incorporated in it, and a lot of my strategies, the design strategies that I've incorporated in this will be built someday. So it's extremely fulfilling and something to be proud of.
Nikita, who went to Haiti. We heard from Christina O, who went to Guatemala. And this is Tiffany Talton, and we'll get into where she went in a little bit. Before you came to Carnegie Mellon, you were actually at the United Nations. Tell us a little bit about that background and why you decided to change course a little bit.
So, correct, I was at the United Nations for 4 years, and I worked in the Public Information Office for guided tours, teaching people about the work of the United Nations, and my specialty was sustainability, economic and social development problems.
And then Superstorm Sandy came to New York, and you decided to maybe change gears a little bit?
Correct. I was always very interested in climate change and sustainability, and I gave a lot of tours that encouraged people to change their lives to make the world a better place. But when Superstorm Sandy happened, I realized that a lot of my talk had been about other countries experiencing climate change and not so much about what could happen in a wealthy city like New York, which was still devastated. And I realized that climate change was happening much faster than the scientists were saying, and that we really needed to do something quickly to act. And I didn't think that waiting for all of the country leaders this was going to be the path for me. I wanted to be direct, work with people, and really work more at a local government level to get change happening quickly.
We're looking at some pictures. You are the founder of CMU in Puerto Rico. That's where these pictures are from. And so when Hurricane Maria hit in 2017, you jumped to action, right?
Right. I knew what happened in Hurricane Sandy, the number of people that died, the blackouts in New York City caused a lot of devastation there, and I could imagine just how bad it was going to be in Puerto Rico. I also lived in Puerto Rico as a kid myself. My dad was stationed there in the Navy, and it's part of the reason I ended up at the United Nations. I learned to speak Spanish there, which led me to learn 5 other languages.
5?
7 really, but I forgot the other 2.
Who's counting?
And so I decided I had to go back to Puerto Rico, the place where it all started, and help the people. They helped me, they made me part of who I am, and that's what I wanted to do.
Tiffany's getting her master's in public policy and management in our Heinz College. Heinz College, public policy. You won a few awards just recently about CMU in Puerto Rico. Is this something that you can continue, even if it's not at Carnegie Mellon?
Well, we have become an official student organization now, so I won the SLICE Active Leaders Award there. Positive Influence Award is what it's called.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I also won the Otto A. Davis Leadership Award at the Heinz College for commitment to social and racial justice. And so I'm really very proud of that work, and I'm excited that my Vice President, Frank Andujar Lugo, who's from Puerto Rico, is going to continue the organization after I leave.
Fantastic. I saw you waving to somebody. You want to say hello to anybody here?
Hi, Mom, and hi, Nephew Michael. Love you.
That is Tiffany Talton. Thanks for joining us up here. Getting her master's in public policy. All right, so those were 3 students that went all around the world. Let me bring in Zain Islam Hashmi and make a transition over into architecture. This guy is a designer. And when I say designer, the lead designer for a thing that we call Lunar Gala. First of all, Carnegie Mellon tradition, what is Lunar Gala?
So Lunar Gala is
You say gala, I say gala.
Tomato. So Lunar Gala is an entirely student-run production fashion show that's put on once a year. It's Pittsburgh's largest fashion show with over 1,200 people in attendance. And at this fashion show, we'll have almost 15 to 20 student-made collections, student models, student performers, all the lighting, design, everything. It's all entirely student-run, and it just really pushes the envelope of what fashion is and how we can start bringing in other disciplines into it to kind of create something entirely new that people have really never seen before.
Yeah, let's get into the good stuff. We have pictures from the Lunar Gala. This guy takes cement, sand, concrete, and turns them into costumes? First of all, are they heavy, and where do you get this inspiration?
They're not heavy enough that a model hasn't complained to us yet.
Well done.
No, I mean, we've really, over my times here at Carnegie Mellon, I've really tried to just kind of push the idea of what people think certain materials are capable of doing and what they're capable of being used in. So from like cement and concrete to plaster to resins to just plastic that's shiny and neon pink. It's really just kind of creating an experience for the viewer of this show that really kind of makes them think, wow, I'm seeing something I've never seen before. And it's just kind of a great feeling, kind of getting to showcase this like uninhibited creativity.
All right, so he's getting his undergrad in architecture, and it turns out that you actually have an installation here on campus going forward. Tell us briefly a little bit about that, Zain.
Yeah, so I'll be staying on campus right after graduation to be working on an installation in the College of Fine Arts building. We'll be putting up a new map of Pittsburgh that's actually going to be 3D and topographic to kind of reflect the city's relationship and development to the landscape and the 3 rivers of Pittsburgh. So that's coming soon, and it'll be unveiled later this summer and then on launch for next school year.
All right, Zain Islam Hashmi. Congratulations, bud. Thanks for joining us up here. So he goes back to get all dressed up. Well, he is dressed up, all lined up. And so we will see students here in the next hour or so. But in the meantime, this is our commencement pre-show, an opportunity to tell you a little bit about some of the students. We talked earlier about how our School of Drama is one of the best in the entire world. In fact, we have won 47 Tonys, our alumni have, and we are up for 11 more nominations coming up at the beginning of June at the Tony Awards. So you're supposed to graduate and then go get your first job. But for this next student, he hasn't even been on campus since April the 17th because he has not one but two jobs, and they're right off Broadway. This is Jake Poser.
A costume designer, first and foremost, is responsible for bringing visuals in the terms of clothing to the stage. But I think a costume designer, like any other theater maker, is a collaborator in the process. So their job is to tell a visual story through the use of clothing with the rest of a team. So a director, usually a lighting, a scenic designer, a sound designer in terms of theater. So I was a costume designer for Cabaret, which was the 2018-2019 musical for the School of Drama. We do one musical a year, so it was pretty exciting. So it started off with research, curating research from the 1920s, 1930s, and then also we chose to take the show into a little bit more of a contemporary direction clothing-wise. So we started to blur the lines between what 2019 looks like and how 1929 and how that kind of came together. So after research, I sat down, I made collages, which then informed sketches. And then those sketches moved into the costume shop here. And then by February 22nd, we had 200 costumes on stage. I'll be moving to New York. I'm actually moving a little bit earlier than scheduled, but I'll be moving to New York and then assisting costume designing on a few projects while hopefully freelancing on some of my own stuff while I get my bearings. Starting out, I'll be at the Roundabout Theater Company in Midtown, assisting on a new play called Tony Stone, being designed by Didi Aite. And then after that, she's taking me with her again, and we're going to Lincoln Center to do another show called The Rolling Stone. So lots of stones this summer. So I guess it's not like exactly as I planned, but it's definitely exciting and I guess what I hoped for.
So I feel like we should do our next interview with Hamza Qureshi right up here at the podium. You see, at commencement, we have a student who gives a keynote, and Hamza tried out, did a lot of interviews. You're the winner. Let's walk a little bit away from this podium. You'll be here enough later on. Hamza, what are your emotions like as you get ready to graduate, but also deliver the charge to the fellow student body?
Well, it's definitely bittersweet. I've been working really hard throughout my time at Carnegie Mellon just to really get to know a lot of the people in my class, and it's all kind of culminated in this, so it's just been an incredible experience. There's a lot going on up here, but it's going to be good.
Nervous? Have you ever spoken to 10,000 people with 20,000 eyes on you, waiting for you to get off the stage so that they can get out of the heat and move on with the rest of their day?
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, no problem.
No, this is definitely a first for me, so it's incredible.
Let's talk a little bit about what you've done here at Carnegie Mellon. One of your degrees, double major here, is in human-computer interaction. We're looking at some video of the Subterranean Challenge where your team went underground and looked at autonomous vehicles. Talk a little bit about this and also what you've done at Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah, so with this project in particular, it was part of the Human-Computer Interaction BHCI capstone. So my team and I, we worked with the Robotics Institute here at Carnegie Mellon to help develop the interface so that an operator can actually complete all of these very complex challenges when the robots are underground. So it was all stuff that I didn't really know anything about coming in, but doing it has been so rewarding and so incredible just to learn about robots at Carnegie Mellon.
So you've done student government, an orientation leader, a culture ambassador at our Welcome Center. What one thing has really jumped out that you are super proud that you have done here?
Well, for me, I'd have to say orientation has just been such an incredible experience. Part of what orientation is meant to do is help bring first-year students into the Carnegie Mellon community and really integrate them into the experience and what it means to be a student here. So getting to have a part in that during my time here has been just such a rewarding experience, getting to meet all of the amazing students that are coming into this school. It's blown my mind how many amazing students get to go here.
How long's your speech?
7 minutes and...
7 hours?
No.
How long?
7 minutes and 12 seconds, officially.
All right, well done. All right, Hamza Qureshi will stand up here in a little bit. He will give our student keynote. Thanks, congratulations. Architecture and human-computer interaction, right? I got that?
Yep, you got it.
All right, you can go eat your breakfast with your family now, I guess. So Hamza is one of our speakers, and in fact, we have another keynote. So within commencement, we have another tradition where every year we give out honorary doctorate degrees. And we are giving out 5 of them. For more of them, we go back to the big screen. But note that one of them will be our keynote. And if you've hung around Broadway a little bit or seen some commercials, you might have heard about him. Trust me. Back up here on stage as we continue to tick down to when we're going to see students, and we'll explain that process in just a little bit. Now, there are some other rules that I could probably go into. Everything's okay. But there are some things that you need to know. You might be having some of those questions answered in the app. But for that, a little more rules. We go back to the board as we get set for the 122nd Commencement here at
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Commencement at Carnegie Mellon University. The procession will begin at 10:15. Please be seated at this time. It is important that the track and the aisles remain clear for the procession. Programs for the main ceremony are available at each stadium entrance. The ceremony will be simulcast to a number of locations in the Cohen University Center. If you require emergency help, including medical assistance, please notify a university police officer or a commencement volunteer wearing a red t-shirt. A first aid station is located on the left side of the stadium near the soccer field. In the event of an evacuation, please proceed to the nearest exit, marked by arrows on the map. To protect the track and field, food and beverages other than water are not permitted. Free bottled water is available in the end zone areas and at the concession stands under the bleachers. Gessling Stadium is a smoke-free environment. Stadium restrooms are located near the concession stands under the bleachers. Additional restrooms are available in the Cohen University Center and in residence halls behind the commencement stage. After the ceremony has ended, please remain in your seats until the platform group has exited the stadium. Please determine where you need to go after the ceremony and follow the appropriate exit route indicated by signage and the maps within the CMU Events app and on screen. Shuttle bus service will be available to take guests to and from off-campus diploma ceremonies. Shuttles will leave from Margaret Morrison Street following the main commencement ceremony. They run on a loop and stop at all destinations. Walking and driving directions to off-campus diploma ceremonies are available at the welcome area in the Cohen University Center and in the app Events at Carnegie Mellon University. Lost and Found is located in the Cohen University Center at the information desk. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to Commencement at Carnegie Mellon University.
All right, enough of that rules stuff and who our speakers are going to be. Let's get back to what you came for, and that's the students. So this is Alex Gerson, this is Gabe Gerson. Married couple, got their undergrads. We'll get to the next part in a sec. You're getting your masters together. What was that experience like in the Tepper School of Business going through this program together? Ladies first. Sure.
It was a really wonderful experience doing it together. I think, we were a little nervous about spending all of our time together, having separate careers and then being in the same place, the same classes, and actually recruiting for the same career. But we ended up far better for it. I mean, I knew we were a great team before we came to Tepper, but I've learned that even more so here based on the complementary skills that we have.
Gabe, I know you're going to agree with that, but your thoughts?
Right. Honestly, I feel like we had it relatively easy compared to some of our classmates who might have had spouses that lived, in the other part of the country, or some of them actually, across the planet, where, we were able to go through this experience together and really support each other through it. We feel like we actually had it relatively easy.
Let's talk a little bit about going all around the planet. One of the last things you did in the Tepper School of Business was you did a capstone that allowed you to go to Hong Kong for 4 or 5 weeks. What was that experience like, and what was the purpose of it?
Yeah, it was a really wonderful experience. So we spent 4 weeks at the Chinese University of Hong Kong and 1 week exploring mainland China and the Greater Bay Area, which is becoming a huge tech hotbed for them in China. It was a wonderful way to cap off our experience because it tied together all the things that we learned, and especially going out and starting our careers as the Chinese economy continues to become an even bigger powerhouse. It taught us a lot.
Looks like you went other places than just Hong Kong, right, Gabe?
Right, yeah, one nice thing about the program was it offered us the ability to travel on the weekends, and also once the program wrapped up. So we visited, I think, a total of 8 different countries in Southeast Asia. Actually stopped in Qatar on the way back. We were able to check out the CMU Qatar campus, which was really, really awesome.
All right, so here's the thing. They got their undergrad a year apart. They got jobs. They quit those jobs to come back to school full-time. Tell me, you have full-time jobs waiting for you, right?
We do, thank goodness, yes. We're ready to go back out into the world and start making a salary again. We very much miss that, but yes, we do. We're both moving to New York, both working in consulting, and really excited to do so.
All right, ready for the Big Apple?
Yeah, I'm ready. We had the chance to do our summer internships there last summer, and we're dying to get back.
All right, you want to say hello to any family out there? First you, Alex?
Yes, so to my mother-in-law and father-in-law, we're really excited that they're here.
Gabe?
Yeah, Mom and Dad, we love you.
All right, so here's the deal. They graduated, they quit their jobs. They're graduating again. Mom and Dad, they got jobs. They're not moving back into home. Congratulations to you, and also to you all.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Gabe Gerson, Alex Gerson, master's students, wife, husband, Tepper School of Business. Bill James is hanging out here. Bill James is a graduate of 1970-something from the Tepper School of Business. You're back on campus because you were part of our alumni awards reception on Friday night. What is it like for you to come back to campus on a commencement weekend, Bill?
This is extremely exciting. That year was 1978.
I didn't want to say you were old.
No, we don't feel old. We feel so privileged to have been a part of that experience. Coming back to campus is great. We come back to campus a number of times. We love it here. We love the changes here. We love the growth here. We love the support to diversity and inclusion. It's just an awesome experience. New buildings, great people. We're enjoying it.
Let's talk about diversity, because one of the reasons you got your award is because of all the effort and leadership you've put into the Carnegie Mellon Black Alumni Association. That's where you partner up current students with alumni?
Absolutely. It was back a number of years when Franklin Duck started the organization. And the idea was we made great friends here as black students, enduring a legacy together because things were changing, not only on campus, but in the world. So we wanted to be connected to each other. Then we found out about 12 years ago that we wanted to be even more deliberate about connecting with students. A lot of people talk about mentoring. Well, you have to be there all the time to do that. But we like to talk about coaching and giving students opportunities to see the world the way that we have seen it since graduation. So we're here on campus every homecoming, every spring carnival. We've met great and wonderful students. We love what we see happening to them. And as they graduate, they join us and they connect us back yet again. So it's an awesome thing. We have watched the idea of diversity inclusion to grow into something that is extremely sustainable, and we enjoy being a partner with the university to do that.
Welcome home.
It's nice to be here.
Bill James is based in Chicago, one of 110,000 alumni that Carnegie Mellon has produced.
There you go.
You got to go get dressed up?
I got to get dressed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. All right, so that is Bill. Continue on with the student athletes. You're sitting in a football stadium. One of the questions that we get asked here is, does Carnegie Mellon have sports? You bet we do. They are 10 sports, 17 teams. And for a track and field star that we're about to introduce you to, sure, it's her last day as a student here at Carnegie Mellon, but certainly not her last day as a student ever, because she is off to medical school.
I think balancing academics and athletics really takes discipline and also a realistic understanding of what you can accomplish. I know that I can handle a few things on my plate at once, so that's how I was able to, take on athletics and also do a lot of other things on campus.
I think the thing that makes Deb excel is her motivation as well as her time management skills. She's very motivated in what she's trying to do. So because of her time management skills, she's learned how to really work the system in the best way that it can be.
So I'm a sprinter and a jumper. I compete in anything from the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, or 400-meter dash, and I also long jump. I was drawn to CMU for its emphasis in research and technology. I wanted to come to a place where I could continue my track career in college, as well as have a strong emphasis in my schoolwork and studied biology.
Deb's been a huge impact player for the last 3 years. The moment she stepped on campus, we knew that she was going to excel for us.
I try to inspire and mentor the younger athletes on the team by coming to practice every day and having a good attitude about the workouts. When I come into practice, I kind of have a mindset that I'm ready to lead the workout, to push those times, to hit the intervals. I try to do that through example, so by leading the workouts on my team. Carnegie Mellon does a really good job at supporting their student athletes. The benefit of competing in Division III sports is that you're a student first and foremost, so I've definitely been able to do that here at Carnegie Mellon.
Continuing on with the student athlete trend, and this is the thing, we're Division III. Our student athletes do not receive scholarships for athletics. Ray Lasco has a pretty cool story, a softball player, which is a new thing here at Carnegie Mellon. This is the first time we've ever fielded a softball team. There was one senior on the team, one sophomore, and 14 freshmen.
Yep.
Did they call you big sister, or did they call you mom?
They called me Grandma.
Grandma. What is that experience like, a first-year team, such a young team, and being the only senior?
It was definitely a big learning experience. I got the chance to look out for the freshmen who are actually the same age as my younger sister. So that was a lot of fun to learn and grow with them.
You actually decided to postpone graduation a little bit so that you could play softball, right?
Yeah, I actually decided to stay for the spring semester so I could finish out playing with them, and it was a lot of fun.
Cognitive science and also an additional major in human-computer interaction. What is next for you?
Next, I'll be joining Apple as a designer after 3 internships there.
I mean, so she postpones graduation to play softball. Then she gets in a very select group called the 5th-year Scholars Program, where you could have come back for a 5th year, which would have been free, which would have carried a fellowship, some money. But you decided that, I got to go to Apple, right?
Yeah, I ended up getting a really great opportunity, so I decided to turn down the 5th-year scholarship and go ahead and join Apple right away.
Any family out there you want to say hello to?
Hi, Mama, Baba, Grandma.
Ray Lasco, a softball player, a double major. Hey, hang right here because we have one more student athlete that we want to introduce you to. And this guy's incredible. He writes his own music. He plays his own music. Now that school is over, he has a job with Booz Allen Hamilton to be a cyber analyst. He's going to try out for the NBA's minor leagues, but it's what he did on campus to allow other people to play basketball and other sports that really caught our eye. Here is Seth Henry.
Seth Henry, economics major, basketball player. Balancing basketball and academics or athletics in general is very difficult, but you get into a routine where it becomes more easy. And I think the fact that we're involved in athletics every single day for 2 or 3 hours, maybe even 4, really drives the competitive nature that we have, and it carries over into the classroom. So just because I'm really tired from basketball and practice and working out, I also want to get a really high grade on the test next week so I can get an A in the class. So I think that is like a pushing factor for athletics that I think a lot of students appreciate. Special Olympics of Pennsylvania came to Carnegie Mellon 4 years ago to establish this as the foundation for the Western Spring Sectionals. And I was introduced to by an old friend, old teammate of mine, James Ormond, who at the time was on the basketball committee, and he basically told me to come out, volunteer, see what Special Olympics is about. And when I went out the first time, it was just really life-changing. I got to referee a lot of the games, talk with a lot of the athletes and see how hard-working and determined they are to win, but also foster friendly competition. And I just really wanted to make this day, those days, like the best possible for not only the athletes, but the volunteers and committee members. My senior year, I was talking with Mike Ermer, who was the competition director for the Western portion of PA. And he was basically asking me, like, is being a director of competition for CMU something I was interested in? And I thought that I could have a really big imprint on this year's Special Olympics event. So I decided to take that on. I really believe that being involved in this role not only allowed me to expand my horizon of what Special Olympics really is about and how many different factors go into making this day really special, but also helping the athletes was something that I was really passionate about and something that I hope I can continue down the line when I move back to Maryland and DC.
So that is Seth Henry, one of our basketball players who will be in attendance. So again, my name is Jason Mader. I'm from the Marketing and Communications Department here at Carnegie Mellon. This is our commencement pre-show, kind of our red carpet, where we're interviewing students and giving you a sense of what this place is all about as we get ticking and ticking and ticking towards seeing those students and doing this ceremony here in just a little bit. We talked earlier about wanting to have you all involved with us on social media at #CMUgrad on Instagram and on Twitter. We continue to involve yourselves in that as we will check in from time to time. And in fact, we're going to do that right now. So we'll take a quick break and look at some of the social media posts out there. Perhaps we'll see you. #CMUgrad here on Commencement Day. So one of the big questions that we get asked at commencement is, where will my loved one, my student, sit out in those white seats? Well, here's the thing. I can't tell you exactly which row or even which seat, but I can give you a sense of where in which section. So we have a little map that will show you where everybody is going to sit, and they sit according to their discipline, their college, or their department. So you can follow up with me here, or we can kind of look at this screen together. But Team Red is over on the right side here. In the red section is our College of Engineering and also our graduates from Silicon Valley. We have a campus out there in California. Now that's a big section. In fact, College of Engineering has 1,600 degrees that will be conferred. Now, they're not all going to be here, but you'll notice that some of the red section will spill into the back of the blue section. Blue section, Team Blue. Anybody out there for Team Blue? Tepper School of Business and the College of Fine Arts. Note also that the bachelor students sit in front of the master's students. Team Yellow, the yellow section here, which is kind of to the left of the podium if you're standing on the stage like me. Hines College, and then also our School of Computer Science, and then ETC, which is our Entertainment Technology Center. And then way over here in this last section, the green section, our Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, our BXA program. Oh, it sounds like there are some Dietrich peeps out there. Also our Science and Humanities Scholars Program. Note that our Dietrich Bachelor students will sit before those two programs, then the Dietrich Masters will be after BXA and SHS, and then we will wrap it up with the Mellon College of Science. So there are the four sections. All right, let us continue to talk about some of the great students here at Carnegie Mellon, and we're going to talk about one great tradition. Come on over, Olivia and Stephen. This is indeed the final tradition at Carnegie Mellon, but some would say it's not the most over the top, because we have a thing called Carnival. Stephen, you can waddle on in here. Guy comes in crutches, I tell him to come upstairs and such like that. We have a thing called Carnival that's in the middle of every April, and these are some of the chairs. Olivia Seavey, who is a civil engineering graduate, you oversaw a thing called Booth. What is Booth and what is Carnival? We have some video of that as well.
Okay, so CMU Spring Carnival is a really cool opportunity for alumni to come back, for the students here to take a break for the weekend. Lots of fun activities. There's entertainment, comedy shows. Our large traditions, our more prominent traditions such as Buggy and Booth. So I was head of Booth for this year. Booth is a tradition that's been going on for 105 years now. Student orgs compete by building either 1- or 2-story wooden structures, and they're judged based on booth design, there's a game inside of each of them, other aspects of their booth. It's a year-long process, so I oversee the committee that reviews all of the plans structurally, and I kind of help guide the students into building something that is fun and safe for the entire Pittsburgh community to come enjoy. Yeah. Let's make the transition over to Stephen Clark, who is the overall chair of Carnival. Well, at least a co-chair, I guess. Yeah. Stephen, talk a little bit more about what she missed when it comes to Carnival, but also hit on this thing we call Buggy, which is a bizarre-looking sports competition.
Yeah, definitely. So Buggy will have its 100th year next year, so it's definitely going to be a big event next year. It's sort of this small little contraption that someone gets inside of and drives, and then people push it up hills and drive it all around, and it's like a race. It's really great to come see that in the morning and then enjoy the booths and the rest of the entertainment that Carnival has to offer for the rest of the day. So it's a really great tradition, and we're proud that it's student-led and that we got to lead it for so long.
How much time did that take?
It is a lot of time. It's a year-long planning event, and we meet for almost an hour every week, starting almost right now. So it's an intensive process, but we're very proud to see it all come together in the end.
Stephen is a School of Computer Science major. What's next for you, Stephen?
Yeah, so I'll be starting at Google this summer out in Mountain View.
And Olivia? Whoa, huge Google fans here. Both of your moms are right up here?
Yeah, that's both of our parents.
Tell your ma what you're doing after graduation.
So next year I'll actually be returning to CMU for my master's degree. I'll still be in the civil engineering department. Also, I'm being head of booth next year as well, so
you're back.
I get to have all this fun all over again. Yep.
All right. That's Olivia Seavey, That's Stephen Clark. We won't even ask what the heck happened here with the crutches, but you'll never forget this commencement.
No,
huh?
I won't.
All right, hang right here because we want to talk a little bit about buggy. Believe it or not, they were right. There are actually people in those rolling vessels. They go like 35 miles an hour. If you think it's crazy,
It is crazy.
it is crazy, right? We went to a buggy shop for a student organization called Fringe. They call it their Froom. They showed it what it's like to build a buggy, but also how to get in one of those things. Take a look.
Ready, set.
Heard about Carnegie Mellon traditions such as booth, buggy, and carnival. I'm here to tell you about one more. Looking right behind me, you can see the fence. Any student is able to paint the fence, but a few rules need to be followed in order to paint it. The first rule is that it can only be painted from midnight to sunrise. The second rule is you can only use 1930s technology to paint the fence. That means paint brushes only. No rollers, spray cans, or any other modern painting technology. The third rule of the fence is that you must paint it in its entirety, from end to end, all over. And the last rule is that in order to keep your message, you must keep 2 people out there sitting on the gravel all day from your organization. You can rotate within, but as long as you have 2, you're able to keep your message. The old fence stood for 65 years and it served as an unofficial billboard to display your message throughout all of campus. Until 1993, it was the most painted object in the world. But over the years, it endured too much paint and it was not able to withstand the weight and collapsed. Now, our new fence is supported by steel, and it already has 4 inches worth of paint caked onto it. Once again, I'm Isaac Mills, and this is the tradition of Carnegie Mellon's fence.
Well, we talked about some of the great traditions. We talked a little bit about buggy, but that was the fence. Fence, by the way, is right out here. And to hammer home what Isaac said, it was a graduating senior. The kids who want to paint the fence have to paint it from midnight to sunup. So it means rain or shine, they're out there in the middle of the night going side to side with only paintbrushes, no rollers and no robots. We continue on here in our commencement pre-show. And I want to introduce you to a student who's getting a double major. One of them in the Tepper School of Business. When he was a high school senior, Samuel Belay got that great news. He had been accepted into Carnegie Mellon University. But he thought that it probably wasn't warranted. He was wrong, and he'll be here today, and he'll do it with university honors.
Carnegie Mellon's a world-renowned institution, top school. Didn't necessarily think I was at the caliber of, the average SAT score, the average GPA for someone to get admitted into Carnegie Mellon. Really didn't feel my academics was necessarily up to par to what Carnegie Mellon was looking for. Clearly they had seen something in me that I hadn't necessarily seen in myself. I've met numerous people that have felt that, what an incredible place to be, didn't deserve to be here, but I want to make the most out of it. And I think those are the people that have been able to really thrive because, we're not taking it for granted. My first semester was challenging for different reasons. I think I had taken on a lot on my plate, more than I could handle. My perspective of college was, this is a time for self-exploration and at the same time fun. And then academics took a third spot. And then, to sort of add it all on, my closest family members were thousands of miles away. Reevaluated my sort of the outcome of my freshman fall, and I said, I've had fun for a long time. Now it's time to buckle down and see how I can deliver when I really have academics as my priority. And so I came back with that focus, ended up getting a really phenomenal score my freshman spring, and now we'll be graduating with university honors. I look back at my 4 years and I say, if the past is any indication of the future, I will never regret working incredibly hard and prioritizing to what I think is most important. Rarely do I remember the nights or the days that I sacrificed not hanging out with friends my sophomore year, but I do remember and feel the present outcome. And so, for me, it's the affirmation that hard work never really fails you as long as it's, within the right balance. Hi, Mom. I know I wanted to be a DJ, but this is a good alternative. Thank you for putting me on this path. Love you.
You bet it is, huh? Wanted to be a DJ, and now he's a graduate for the Tepper School of Business. Let's talk a little bit about the Tepper School of Business. This thing's been on campus forever, but this year, Tepper School of Business has a brand new building. David Tepper is who it's named after. David Tepper is one of the most successful hedge fund managers in all of the world. He also owns the NFL's Carolina Panthers. But most important to us, he is a Carnegie Mellon graduate. And back in September, the Tepper School of Business moved into its brand new building. And for that, we give you a sense of what the Tepper Quad and a new outlook on business education is all about.
What if? We ask ourselves this question all the time at Carnegie Mellon University.
What if students were immersed in a collaborative learning environment where open spaces translate into open ideas?
What if the world's most forward-looking business school created the education of the future to prepare the next generation of leaders to be pioneers of change in a dynamic global world?
What if we unleashed innovation by giving promising entrepreneurs from every corner of CMU access to a center that merges business, technology, and design?
What if every prospective student, parent, alum, supporter, partner, and visitor could feel welcomed and wowed as they experience the richness of CMU firsthand?
What if emerging business executives harness the latest practices, expertise, and coaching to accelerate their growth and transform industries?
What if students could become global citizens by connecting with cultures through a multimedia-rich, interactive learning space?
What if educators revolutionized learning by developing new technologies and techniques with state-of-the-art classrooms and teaching innovation studios?
What if
Every student, every faculty member,
every target
had access,
had the inspiration,
had the place to create,
to build,
To innovate,
to accelerate the convergence of ideas to solve the world's greatest challenges?
What if? Two words that represent the future of how Carnegie Mellon is empowering tomorrow's thinkers, innovators, and discoverers, giving them the tools to stretch the limits of our imagination.
That is the opening of the Tepper Quad that was back in September. Tepper School of Business, by the way, has 650 degrees that will be conferred, some of them bachelors, some of those masters. We talked a little bit earlier to Alex and Gabe Gerson, two of our master's students. 5,600 degrees will be conferred. The largest, as we said earlier, is the College of Engineering at about 1,600. You see, the thing is, not all 5,600 students will be here, and as you know, there are individual ceremonies. But when those students walk in here in the next 20 minutes or so, you're going to notice that they're pretty much all dressed the same. But there are subtle nuances to their gowns based on if they're bachelor's or master's or a PhD students. And for an explainer on that, we give you this. We encouraged you to continue interacting with us on social media, #CMUgrad on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to take another break, give you an opportunity to see some of those students up here on the big boards. We're getting close, folks. The students will start walking across campus momentarily. We will be here when it happens. In the meantime, time for some good old social media. Welcome to the year 2019. Back live here on the stage, you can see the ribbons are starting to come off those white seats, which means that we inch closer to seeing graduates. These students come in as one type of person, and they leave as another. And for one student in our Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, who particularly is going to get a degree in statistics, he came in as a freshman, looked himself in the mirror, literally, didn't exactly like what he saw, and he made a huge, huge change because he wanted to. And now, as he walks into this stadium, he truly feels different than he ever has before.
My name is David White, and I'm graduating with a degree in statistics. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and after graduation, I'm going to be moving to St. Louis to work as a data scientist at a science company called Millipore Sigma. Starting in my freshman year of college, I was about 311 pounds. I was kind of addicted to food. I didn't exercise very much. And after so many years of reduced social agency, of health problems, my knees would always hurt, of generally not being satisfied with myself when I looked at my physical appearance. I read an article by someone who writes for ESPN about how he lost 175 pounds and how he went about it. I called my sister at home and I said, I'm going to be 200 pounds on January 1st. Slowly and slowly and slowly over the next 10 months, from that time in February to all the way to the end of January, I stuck with it. If I missed a workout, I would just head back the next day even harder. Wouldn't let myself get in a rut. Really staying goal-oriented, and on January 1st, 2017, I was 205 pounds. I missed the mark by about 5 pounds, but that was a great day. There's a religious organization called InterVarsity, which has chapters across the United States, and when I was going through difficult things and struggling through things, there were friends that were willing to stand by me, and also people who were willing to challenge me in my faith. On one end, in my physical transformation, I was losing weight and getting healthier and getting stronger. Also, because of the people in InterVarsity, I was becoming a man of my word. I was becoming someone with a heart of love and a heart of compassion, someone with a heart of service. So I came to Carnegie Mellon because I wanted to get a job. I wanted to get a degree so I could get a job and support myself and support my family someday. But I didn't expect along the way to also have my life changed in so many other ways.
I keep calling this a commencement red carpet. I guess we should call it a commencement blue carpet. But my name is Jason Mader, and we got word that the students have started to file away from their respective places all around campus. There are about 10 or 12 locations. They are on their way here. And with that, we have one more time, for those who missed it, some rules and things you need to know as we get set for the 122nd commencement of Carnegie Mellon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to commencement at Carnegie Mellon University. The procession will begin at 10:15. Please be seated at this time. It is important that the track and the aisles remain clear for the procession. Programs for the main ceremony are available at each stadium entrance. The ceremony will be simulcast to a number of locations in the Cohen University Center. If you require emergency help, including medical assistance, please notify a university police officer or a commencement volunteer wearing a red t-shirt. A first aid station is located on the left side of the stadium near the soccer field. In the event of an evacuation, please proceed to the nearest exit, marked by arrows on the map. To protect the track and field, food and beverages other than water are not permitted. Free bottled water is available in the end zone areas and at the concession stands under the bleachers. Gessling Stadium is a smoke-free environment. Stadium restrooms are located near the concession stands under the bleachers. Additional restrooms are available in the Cohen University Center and in residence halls behind the commencement stage. After the ceremony has ended, please remain in your seats until the platform group has exited the stadium. Please determine where you need to go after the ceremony and follow the appropriate exit route indicated by signage and the maps within the CMU Events app and on screen. Shuttle bus service will be available to take guests to and from off-campus diploma ceremonies. Shuttles will leave from Margaret Morrison Street following the main commencement ceremony. They run on a loop and stop at all destinations. Walking and driving directions to off-campus diploma ceremonies are available at the welcome area in the Cohen University Center and in the app Events at Carnegie Mellon University. Lost and Found is located in the Cohen University Center at the information desk. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to Commencement at Carnegie Mellon University.
Commencement draws near. I am Jason Mader. Our red carpet continues. So we've talked to a bunch of students. We've talked to people who thought they didn't truly belong when they got the letter. They do belong. We talked about student athletes. We talked about some of the great traditions. We're about to see one more of them because out there on the track, our pipe and drums band is getting ready to do the first part of its thing because Carnegie Mellon embraces this Scottish tradition of bagpipes because of our founder, Andrew Carnegie. He, with his Scottish background, who founded this university back in 1900, we decided to embrace that as well. And so bagpiping has been a thing here on campus since like the 1930s. It's not out of place to walk across this campus and hear the pipes. The drummers are moving everybody into place out there on the track. And what they are about to do is come to that midpoint of the track in front of that white tent and get themselves in position. And when they get there, they'll wait for a cue that we're all waiting for when students arrive, and then they will play and commencement will truly begin. If you look at them, some of them are actually in their regalia. About 10 of them are graduating seniors or receiving their masters today. And for 2 of them, 2 females who play the pipes, they had never played bagpipes before they came to campus as freshmen. And now their final performance will be on their final day as tartans.
The first time I was introduced to it was during freshman year convocation, where all of the freshmen were sitting in the tent and the pipe band and drums band were marching in to close and open the ceremony. I noticed that the band doesn't have a lot of diversity. I want to play it so that perhaps I can be an inspiration to encourage other girls or people from different backgrounds to join and become a musician in this field.
Back then I was really into medieval stuff like sword, knights and everything. I actually was in a swordplay club here. Yeah, and so I was like, oh, that's the sound of the bagpipe. It kind of resonates with that theme, right? So looked cool, I want to play it, and I joined.
It was very difficult to learn. So I remember first year, we're not on the bagpipes, but instead we're on a chanter. The chanter looks like a recorder, and then you're mainly learning the fingering, so like which hole to press for which note.
And that was easy because I played flute before, so remembering the fingering and everything was quite fun too. And then we moved on to this bag thing, and that's where it got not easy. It was really hard for me to making sound out of that bag, squishing it with my arm. Yeah, that was really hard.
How long does it take one to learn how to play the bagpipes?
I would say at least a couple of years. Perhaps some people are faster, some people are a little slower, but I personally think it at least takes a couple of years.
Whenever I was stressed with finals and projects and everything, I would pull out the pipes and just blow into it, which is a great stress reliever.
Oh, I enjoy it so much. There's so many days when I walk home, I'm humming or whistling bagpipe tunes. That's just amazing. It makes me happy.
And there are our pipers. Y'all ready back there? Getting all set. By the way, Elam, who we saw in that video, was asked by her folks, "Do you want a set of bagpipes as a commencement gift?" She said, "Nah, I'll take a smartphone." Elam, by the way, is getting a set of bagpipes. She's off to Amazon and says that she's going to join a band out there, maybe a grunge bagpiping band. All right, folks, we have reached it. It's time to begin commencement. We hope that you have enjoyed our pre-show, where we've been able to tell you a little bit about some of these students. Here's the thing, though. As I look out at all of you, those students are going to come in here, and we are going to heap praise and congratulations on all of them. But we know here at Carnegie Mellon that those students don't get here by themselves. They get here because of the love and the support that you all have provided. So while we say congratulations to all of them, we say congratulations to all of you as well. And so on behalf of the Division of Marketing and Communications, our events team, and the advancement team here at Carnegie Mellon, my name is Jason Mader. We hope that you enjoy commencement. And on that note, it is time to begin the 122nd edition of commencement at this wonderful institution that we call Carnegie Mellon University. Enjoy, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the class of 2019, being led into the stadium by faculty and Alumni Association board members.
Jasmine just introduce herself as something. over. There's like a bearded guy who's working on top of the stairs. You know who he is? You're gonna find out. He's a control booth. Can't come through.
President, as faculty marshal, I have the honor, indeed the privilege, to declare the 122nd Commencement of Carnegie Mellon University, as authorized by the Board of Trustees, to be in session. Please rise if you're able for the singing of our national anthem by the vocal performance class of 2019.
Yeah, give us...
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Good morning and congratulations to the class of 2019. My name is Rabbi Shlomo Silverman, and I am honored to stand before you today. President Jahanian, trustees, faculty, graduates, families, and friends, we live in a great time. Although we must face difficult challenges, deep darkness, and vast confusion in the world, we also have more opportunities than ever before to overcome our challenges, to dispel the darkness, and bring greater understanding to mankind. Today, I'll not focus on the challenges that you have experienced in your personal journey at CMU or the horrific tragedy that we have all faced here in Pittsburgh this year. I would like to focus on the strength of our CMU community that was brought out through the challenges. Let us focus on the kindness and support that has been shown. Think about the friends who were there for you at your difficult times, the faculty and staff at CMU who stood by you and cared. Remember how in times of crisis, we all came together. That's community. I am proud and grateful to be a part of such a university. That Sunday night, after the horrific tragedy in October, the CMU Jewish community decided to paint the fence. At 12:30 a.m., over 100 students from every walk of life, students of many different faiths, stood together, placed their white handprints on the black fence, and offered support to each other. You see, through our life challenges, we can and will become stronger people and will bring more light to this world. Pittsburgh strong, CMU strong. We are strong when we stand united, strong together for the good. Don't let it end here. May the Almighty bless all of us that we may carry this strength of unity, of caring, of support for each other into our days and years to come. As a verse from Ethics of the Fathers says, "If I am not for myself, who am I? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?" To heed the words of Anne Frank as she wrote, "I keep my ideals because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." Although it can be difficult, may we strive to focus on seeing the good in ourselves as well as the good in others. And may God bless you, the graduates, to take your educational experience and utilize every moment to improve yourself as human beings and our world at large, to affect negativity with the positive, and finally to help the world achieve its ultimate purpose of goodness and peace and prosperity for all. I would like to finish with a brief moment of silence, giving each of us a time for prayer and personal reflection as we start this graduation ceremony. Thank you.
Rabbi, thank you very, very much for that wonderful message and a great invocation, a great start to a wonderful, wonderful day. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful Pittsburgh morning. Just another Pittsburgh morning. In any event, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, welcome to the 122nd Commencement of Carnegie Mellon University. My name is Jim Rohr, and it's my honor and pleasure to serve as the board chair. To all the students graduating today, let me begin by congratulating you on your achievements. This degree represents years of hard work and self-discipline, of discovery, creativity, and problem solving. And now we all realize that a Carnegie Mellon degree is no small feat. This prestigious accomplishment signifies the highest of standards. Today, you embark upon the next stage of your lives, ready to use what you've learned here to continue the long-standing tradition of doing the work that matters. Congratulations to you all. With us today are some faculty and students from Carnegie Mellon's other location around the world, which include Silicon Valley, Rwanda, Qatar, and Australia. How about that? Glad they're with us today as well. Now, as members of the Carnegie Mellon University community, you are all ambassadors of our university. It was through Carnegie Mellon that you gained solid grounding in your major field of study, built collaborations with people whose backgrounds differed from your own, and discovered new perspectives of the world and of yourself. And we know that you will use this experience to great use. Now, congratulations also to friends and family members, coaches, mentors, faculty, and staff who also take great pride in what these graduates have accomplished. Graduation from a demanding academic institution like Carnegie Mellon is a team effort, and these students couldn't have done it without you. If those supporters would please stand and be recognized. Parents, mentors, thank you. Now, as trustees, it's our job to uphold the university's values and to support CMU in advancing its mission to making transformative impacts on society. Many trustees are here on the platform this morning. Would those trustees please stand to be recognized? Thank you. From its inception, Carnegie Mellon has been an institution that breaks new ground, pioneers new ways of learning, and takes big risks. This year has been no exception. We continue to innovate in our teaching and learning, offering a cross-cutting, interdisciplinary education that meets our students' interests and society's needs. Thank you in advance for carrying these CMU values and spirit into the world as you graduate today. Now at this time, it's my great privilege to introduce a truly visionary leader whose impact on the university has already been remarkable. And in addition, he's also a brand new Carnegie Mellon dad. Let me introduce to you the 10th president of Carnegie Mellon University, Dr. Farnham Jahanian.
Good morning, everyone, and congratulations, class of 2019. It's so wonderful to be with you this morning, but before I start, I have a question for our 2019 graduates. Are you excited to be here? Mr. Chairman, that was pretty good. We've seen better. With your permission, let me ask that question again. CMU class of 2019, are you excited to be here? Today, it's about you and it's about your families and loved ones. Enjoy it. I would like to extend a warm welcome to your families and loved ones who share in your achievements. And likewise, I wish to congratulate the faculty and staff who have guided you along the way. Let me also express my deep appreciation to Carnegie Mellon Board of Trustee Chair Jim Rohr. Jim, your energy, vision, and leadership have made you one of the great business leaders of our generation. And your stewardship of CMU has allowed us to plot a strong future. Thank you, Jim, very much for all that you do for CMU. I also wish to add my thanks to all the members of the CMU Board of Trustees for their service, passion, commitment on behalf of the university. Commencement is always a special day for our community. Today, we're all gathered to celebrate your hard work and all of your accomplishments. It's been a thrill and an honor to watch you grow into such wonderful graduates over the past few years. And it's my pleasure to honor you today. This year's ceremony is especially meaningful to me. As Jim alluded to, I'm also celebrating as a CMU parent. I don't want to embarrass my daughter too much. She had to put up with it for 4 years. So I would just simply say, Pops, your family is so proud of you. In honor of the family members and the loved ones who are here today, I'm going to put my CMU dad hat on. It's honor of... It is my great pleasure to recognize the faculty members who have recently accepted emeritus status. Like all of our educators, these distinguished individuals are scholars, scientists, artists, and above all, teachers. They have left an indelible mark on this university through the support and encouragement they have provided to our students and through their legacy of exceptional leadership.
The names of all of our emeriti faculty will be projected on the screen. Those emeriti faculty who are present this morning, please stand and be recognized. I would also like to recognize those faculty members who were recently honored with the title of University Professor. Being appointed a university professor is one of the highest honors that a CMU faculty member can receive. This rank confers both honor and obligation onto its recipients and denotes a legacy of exceptional contribution to education, artistic creativity, and/or research. This prestigious group includes faculty from all of Carnegie Mellon's colleges and schools. The newly appointed university professors are Peter Cook, professor and head of Carnegie Mellon School of Drama; Neil Donahue, Lord Professor of Chemistry in Department of Chemical Engineering, Chemistry and Engineering Public Policy; Sridhar Thakur, fourth Distinguished Research Chair and Professor of Operations Management at Tepper School of Business; and Sarah Kistler, Hillman Professor of Computer Science and Human-Computer Interaction at CMU's Human-Computer Interaction Institute. Sarah was unfortunately unable to join us today. Would these newly appointed university professors please stand, and would you join me in a round of applause for these scholars? At this time, I am delighted to introduce this year's student speaker, Hamza Qureshi. Hamza graduates today with a Bachelor of Arts degree in architecture with an additional major in human-computer interaction. He has been a member of our community since his pre-enrollment program in 2014 and has been a dedicated and engaged student ever since. Hamza has worked tirelessly to foster a climate of inclusion, serving in roles ranging from Welcome Center Ambassador and Fraternity Outreach Chair to undergraduate Student Senate. An exceptional leader, Hamza has served on the School of Architecture's Student Advisory Council and worked as a coach with CMU's Academic Development Department. Upon graduation, Hamza will begin a program at Capital One in Washington, D.C., working as a user experience designer. Please join me in extending an enthusiastic round of applause for the class of 2019 student speaker, Hamza Qureshi.
Thank you, President Jahanian, for the introduction. First off, thank you and congratulations to my fellow graduates. I'd also like to thank everyone who's helped me get here. My family, friends, professors, mentors. I dedicate this to you. My journey to Carnegie Mellon started roughly 9 years ago. Believe it or not, from an episode of 90210, where one of the main characters name-dropped us. Now, I doubt that at the time, the writers anticipated that mentioning CMU on their show would inspire a random 13-year-old from New Jersey to start planning for the next decade of his life. But here I am. I visited campus for the first time in 2013 and came again in 2014 for pre-college. Before coming here full-time in 2015, I spent my summer exhausting my resources, reading anything that I could find online about what it's like to actually go to Carnegie Mellon. At one point, I came across a post on a forum somewhere where the author described Carnegie Mellon as this grim and harsh environment where people drop like flies. They wrote that when you come to CMU, you come simply to study, and to learn, and that if that doesn't work for you, you won't make it out. They wrote that Carnegie Mellon is Pittsburgh's last remaining steel factory, churning out supremely educated yet soulless students one by one. Now, the reason that I think about that post after all these years is because time and time again, Carnegie Mellon and its people have shown me that it couldn't be more wrong. My time here has taught me so many things. First, that drive is the greatest incubus of change. That drive and passion aren't just a part of success, they're a part of what makes us happy. That when our hearts are really, truly in the work that we're doing, we can create incredible things. From extravagant sets for the big senior show, to social media startups, to elaborate booths built and torn down in just a week, to robots that assemble grilled cheese sandwiches for you. See, the mark of a Carnegie Mellon student is this incessant need to create. We work tirelessly to make things better for those around us. And as we journey on to the next phase of our lives, let us not forget the impact that our work can have on the world. As Carnegie Mellon graduates, we have the power to develop the technology that will lead us to the future, the power to resolve conflicts amongst our teams, our companies, and maybe even our nations, the power to move people with our art. And as the world around us continues to change, we must use what we've learned during our time here to keep creating, keep changing, keep doing, because creativity stops when we do. Over my time at Carnegie Mellon, I've also seen what it really means to change. Change is not something I'm averse to. I was born in Pakistan, and I moved to the United States with my family in 1998. I went on to experience these elements of change throughout my life while at the same time watching the world change around me. And on the surface, I've seen Carnegie Mellon change so much over the past 4+ years. We've gotten a new university president, 2 new gyms. We even got a new business school with a lobby bigger than the Pittsburgh airports. But looking inward, I've seen the community change too. I've seen us become more and more resilient by joining together in the face of deep turmoil and tragedy. We've become more open about the problems that we're facing, and we've started working together to find ways to work past them. We've also become more proactive in driving the change we want to see for ourselves and our people around us. As we move forward, keep in mind that it isn't always about changing our communities, changing our environments, or even changing the world. Sometimes it's about finding those opportunities for change within yourself. And so, class of 2019, my charge to you is this: as we continue to watch ourselves change throughout the course of our lives, remember the times when even just for a moment, things felt familiar. Remember the moments when you succeeded at things you didn't think you could, and remember the moments you failed when you didn't expect to. Remember the mornings spent in lecture where the only thing you knew was that you had no idea what was going on. Remember the afternoons and the evenings spent with your student orgs, laughing and smiling and arguing in each other's company. And remember the nights that you might not remember all too well. See, change is inevitable. But the way that you remember the memories that led you there is entirely up to you. And my hope is that the overzealous 16-year-olds sitting at the computer researching what life is like as a CMU student are able to see it the same way I did during my time here. That they can see the same opportunities for passion, for growth, and for change. If Carnegie Mellon really is Pittsburgh's last remaining steel factory, then it's clear that we are not spending our time on the assembly lines. We're writing complex algorithms for autonomy, building and testing the machinery, meticulously designing and planning the interior spaces, figuring out how to manage all of the teams, and of course, grabbing a sandwich at the exchange as often as we can. Our days at Carnegie Mellon may have been tough, but with the memories that we've all made here, those days have also been some of our best. Thank you so much once again for the opportunity to speak to you all today. As we move forward, let us not forget that no matter how separated by distance we may find ourselves, we can always find ways to move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Hamza. Hamza, best wishes for your continued success. Please join me once again in congratulating Hamza. And now we are honored to present special doctoral degrees to individuals who have had extraordinary impact in the arts, business, science, scholarship, and society. Recipients of these honorary degrees have reached a preeminent level of distinction in their fields, advancing knowledge, enriching culture, or improving the human condition. To present these honorary degrees, I would like to introduce Dr. James Garrett, who began his post this year as provost. Jim, of course, comes to this role from his service as Dean of the College of Engineering, but Jim is also a triple alumnus of Carnegie Mellon, so he's very familiar with the sense of accomplishment you're all feeling today. Jim, thank you for taking on this critical position and for all that you have done to advance the scholarly mission of the university. By the way, I should also tell you that it's CMU tradition that Jim, the provost, is responsible for the weather. Thank you for the weather, Jim. 10 degrees cooler. Dr. Garrett will present each candidate and cite the achievements that merit this honor. Then all candidates will together receive their degrees and their doctoral hoods. Jim, please join us at the podium.
Thank you. Will Darlene Clark Hine please come forward? Darlene Clark Hine, you are among the most prolific scholars of African American experience and a founder of the study of Black women's history. Your pioneering work has been recognized by many, including President Barack Obama, who awarded you a National Humanities Medal for your educational contributions at the nexus of race, class, and gender. You are a National Women's History Month honoree, and in 2006, you joined the world's most accomplished scholars, scientists, writers, artists, and civic leaders by being elected to the prestigious American Academy of the Arts and Sciences. An esteemed faculty member at Michigan State and Northwestern universities, you have earned fellowships and grants for your expertise from the American Council of Learned Societies, the Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences, the Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the National Humanities Center, just to name a few. You are an accomplished author, having written numerous books. Among your titles are The African American Odyssey, Black Women in White, Racial Conflict and the Cooperation in the Nursing Profession, Black Women in America, an Historical Encyclopedia, and Hindsight, Black Women and the Reconstruction of American History. Darlene Clark Hine, for your expertise and unprecedented contributions to African American history, Carnegie Mellon is honored to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will David M. Kelly please come forward? David M. Kelly, since graduating from Carnegie Mellon with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering in 1973, you have become a global leader in engineering and product design. After graduating, you went to work for Boeing and NCR, but shortly thereafter, you founded IDEO, an international design and consulting firm that employs a human-centered design approach. From the computer mouse and the first notebook-style computer to products and systems for healthcare, government, and education, you and IDEO are leveraging interactive design to help change lives. As a professor at Stanford University and a founder of its Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design, better known as the D School, you have been educating the next generation of product designers for more than 3 decades. You were inducted into the elite National Academy of Engineering and have been recognized with numerous honors, including the Chrysler Design Award and the National Design Award in Product Design from the Smithsonian's Cooper Hewitt National Design Museum. You were recognized with the Edison Achievement Award for Innovation, and you received the Sir Misha Black Medal for your distinguished contribution to design education. You are a believer that we all can be creative, as you attest to in your New York Times bestseller, Creative Confidence, Unleashing the Creative Potential Within Us All. David M. Kelly, for your exceptional and innovative contributions to product design, Carnegie Mellon is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science and Technology. Will John Schaffner and Joe Stewart please come forward? John Schaffner and Joe Stewart, you are the premier production team, design team in television, having garnered 39 Emmy Award nominations and 6 Emmys for your work across industry genres. From sitcoms and talk shows, to telethons and musical variety programs, your artistic talents have helped to shape the landscape of television today. You made your first impact by naming and designing Star Search, one of the first reality TV programs, and 10 magical David Copperfield specials, and the rest is history. Your Hall of Fame caliber credits list legendary comedies, including The Big Bang Theory, Friends, and 2.5 Men. Your work on variety specials includes a long list of some of entertainment's biggest stars, such as Michael Bublé, Diana Ross, Barbra Streisand, Harry Connick Jr., Celine Dion, Carol Burnett, and the late Whitney Houston. You've designed for Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants, Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eves, several editions of the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and 4 Republican national conventions. In addition, in addition to your 6 Emmy Awards, you've received 33 Art Directors Guild nominations and 1 Guild Awards for your designs of the 2006 Emmy Awards show and The Big Bang Theory. John Schaffner and Joe Stewart, for your long-lasting and legendary contributions to the television industry, Carnegie Mellon is proud to award each of you the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts. Will Leslie Odom Jr. please come forward? Leslie Odom Jr. Since making your Broadway debut at 17 and graduating from Carnegie Mellon's School of Drama a few years later in 2003, you have become the consummate entertainer. You're an actor, singer, and dancer, perhaps best known for your rapping skills as the original Aaron Burr in the Broadway blockbuster Hamilton. For your breakout role, you were recognized with a Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical and a Grammy Award as a principal soloist on the original cast recording. Your talents also have entertained us on the big and small screens with roles in Murder on the Orient Express and in several television series including Smash, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and Person of Interest. You'll soon be starring in an ABC television pilot with Kerry Washington about pastors at a young, hip, diverse church in LA. In addition to your acting, your songs and written words have captured our attention. Your cabaret-style solo concert in New York's Lincoln Center was part of a PBS special. And your debut album, aptly titled Leslie Odom Jr., reached the top of the Billboard Jazz chart. And your rendition of America the Beautiful at Super Bowl 52 was truly inspirational, as are your written words in your motivational book, Failing Up: How to Take Risks, Aim Higher, and Never Stop Learning. Leslie Odom Jr., for your outstanding artistic contributions in many forms, Carnegie Mellon is honored to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
Darlene Clark Hine, David M. Kelly, John Schaffner, Joe Stewart, Leslie Odom Jr., by virtue of the authority granted to me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer these honorary degrees upon you with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for the CMU's 122nd Commencement, Leslie Odom Jr. As you just heard, in the 16 years since graduating from CMU, Leslie has had a phenomenal rise on the national stage. His star-making performance in Hamilton is truly legendary, earning him both Tony and Grammy Awards and inspiring millions. The CMU community is immensely proud of his success on Broadway, in the recording studio, in film and television, and as a best-selling author. He has not only brought a distinct sense of artistry to each and every role and achievement, but he has also demonstrated a commitment to giving back. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Leslie over the past few years, and I can say that he is every bit the quintessential CMU alumnus. Fearless in his dedication to his craft, committed to his alma mater, and inspired by the promise of the next generation. I am so delighted to welcome him back to share his wisdom and experience with our graduates. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Leslie Odom, Jr.
Well, President Jahanian, for your invitation to speak on this momentous occasion, for the generosity of the honor you bestow on me this afternoon, the honorary doctorate, for including me in such fine company. Dr. Darlene Clark-Hine, Dr. David Kelly, Dr. Schaffner, and Dr. Stewart, I marvel at your achievements. I thank you for your contributions to culture and the human family. President Jahanian, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. In May of 2003, I sat where you're sitting, my cap and gown and honor sashes in place. Dr. Teresa Hines, prolific philanthropist and environmental activist, wife of former Secretary of State and U.S. Senator John Kerry, was delivering the commencement address that afternoon, and for $1 million, I couldn't tell you the first thing Dr. Hines talked about. As a matter of fact, without the help of modern technology, but for YouTube and Google, I'm not even certain I could have told you who delivered the commencement address at my graduation. So it gives me tremendous comfort today to know that 16 years from now, when asked, most of you will have no idea who spoke today. That sets me free, so I thank you for that. Today is not about me after all, so it makes sense that I'm not at the top of your list of priorities. Today is all about you. It's about your hard work, your sacrifice, your perseverance. You did it. You finished what you started. You saw it through. We're here to celebrate and commemorate the support and sacrifices made by your families, your partners, your parents, your grandparents, your children, your siblings. They share in your success today, your support network. So congratulations, families, you did it too. Today we celebrate the sincere efforts of your professors and teachers and mentors, the university staff who guided you here, the ones who pushed you and pop quizzed you. Their work was designed for your good. The ones whom you loved, and believe me, the ones whom you didn't love so much, were all designed for your good. They were preparing you for what you're about to face. Be grateful to them. Be grateful to them all. Today you will look to your friends and your classmates. You'll look them in the face and you'll tell them what they've meant to you. Their strength in numbers. You couldn't have done it without one another. I understand how you feel so well. I remember thinking and feeling those things as I ignored my commencement speaker. So in pondering just how exactly I ended up before you today, from that cap and gown to quite another, and looking for something to offer you today about what may have made my path unique or what was a key attribute, I discovered that if there has been a guiding force in my life, beyond being incredibly fortunate and blessed, it has only been intention. Intention. When you're starting out especially, as all of you are about to do, it falls under the purview of things over which you have complete control. Your honest intention. I get asked to speak quite a lot these days, and I think I know why. I played a small role in the making of a cultural phenomenon in New York City. I was Reverend Curtis on 3 seasons of Law and Order SVU. And people want to know what it's like to work with Mariska. I get it. If that's 90% of the reason, certainly the other 10% is the fact that I was also lucky enough to be a part of another cultural watershed moment as a member of the original company of Hamilton the Musical on Broadway. There There were, of course, many contributing factors, large and small, that got me there. But when I look back, when searching for something simple and hopefully something memorable to share with you today, my attention was drawn to the thing that I believe was behind every decision made in the years that have passed: intention. Everything lines up behind your intention. The opportunities that come your way, the people you find surrounding you, where you live, at times what you eat. Much of your ultimate success lies in just how well your actions line up behind your intentions. And I know this is a community of scientists, so I'm not talking about abstract, gooey, insipid, faux New Age nonsense. I'm talking about getting to know yourself and naming the things you want. I'm talking about taking the time to get to know why you want those things. You want influence. Well, what do you plan to do with it once you get it? Your notoriety, your following. What do you plan to do with your money once you get it? The philosopher and teacher Deepak Chopra says, our intentions attract the elements and forces, the events, the situation, the circumstance, and the relationships necessary to fulfill the intended outcome. We don't need to become involved in the details. In fact, trying too hard may backfire. Let the non-local intelligence synchronize the actions of the universe to fulfill your intentions for you. The actions of the universe. The first real evidence life offered me about the power of clear and pure intention was the way in which I made my surprising and dreamlike Broadway debut when I was just 17 years old. I have to tell you, I had no intention of being on TV and in movies or in show business for that matter. I just wanted to be in Rent. Like that. That's as far as I could see. I was gonna audition for the show. I was gonna get the process started, but I figured I'd book the show when I was around 30. I'd do it until I was 40, and then, I don't know, come to Carnegie Mellon and find something to major in. I didn't have the last part figured out. You see, I caught a glimpse of television coverage about the show, and my interest was piqued. I went to the local record store when there were still record stores, and I asked if I could sample the album somewhere. They pointed me to a listening station. I'd meant to only listen to a track or two. An hour and a half later, I was still standing there, transfixed. I didn't move. I laid down $20, the most I'd ever spent on a piece of art at that time in my life. I was around 13 years old. It was an investment. In 3 weeks' time, I knew every single note and syllable to that score. I lived with that music. It began to live in me and through me. I didn't know what my role would be when I eventually got to Rent. I didn't know if it would be usher or curtain puller, but I knew I was meant to be near the thing someday. I loved this piece of art, and I wanted to be a part of giving it away each night. I wanted to be a part of making someone feel as hopeful and inspired as it made me feel. As I said, when I went to the audition, no one was more surprised than me. I met a Carnegie Mellon graduate on stage there. I met Michael McElroy, and I came to Carnegie Mellon because I wanted to be Michael McElroy. I decided that, I was going to be just like him, and somewhere along the way, I found out how to be myself. The teachers here guided me to being myself. I'm sure I was not fully aware of the power of clear intention 20 years ago when I made my Broadway debut. But whether I knew it or not, my life was organizing itself in front of me based on the deepest desires of my heart. My purest and clearest intentions were determining the way my life was unfolding. I was much wiser about it when the role of Burr found its way to me the first time in 2016. I encountered Hamilton, its social currency now, right? How early you saw Hamilton. I meet people, I saw you guys early in Broadway previews. Before it was a thing, $50 ticket. You meet somebody who won the lottery at the public theater, $10 ticket. Well, I saw it before all those people. I encountered the show in Poughkeepsie, New York, of all places, on the campus of Vassar. Poughkeepsie in the house. My wife was working in Poughkeepsie, and they were doing this thing up there called the Hamilton Mixtape. And I knew Lynn kind of casually, and I sent him a tweet, as you do. And this was, you know, before Lynn was very, very famous. He still answered his tweets. And so, and I said, you know, hey, I'm in Poughkeepsie and I'd love to see the Hamilton mixtape. And he said, well, look, come hug me afterwards, but there are no tickets. So before Hamilton was a thing, there were no tickets to see the Hamilton mixtape. But I had made friends with the ushers. You see, that's the other key point of this message today, make friends with ushers. And my favorite usher said, Leslie, I got you. She saved me a seat in the very last row of the Black Box Theater in Poughkeepsie. And the lights go down on the Hamilton mixtape, and I was never the same. It's what falling in love feels like. My favorite quote about artists is that an artist spends their entire life trying to get back to the place where their heart was first opened up. And that's what that felt like for me. It's what falling in love feels like. There's a song early in the show called The Story of Tonight. And as a fan of the theater, right, as a fan of the form, I had never in my life seen 4 men of color on a stage singing about friendship and brotherhood in my life. And to me, that was the revolution. I committed to being the very first Hamill fan. I was going to bring everybody in my life that I knew to see this thing because I just thought it was so worthy and so valuable. I had no idea in a million years sitting on that last row that I would end up being a part of it. But I do remember the first time I heard Wait For It, the song finished, and I thought to myself, well, whomever gets to sing that song 8 shows a week is going to be a very lucky actor. And I was right. I was right. When I got an email from Lin-Manuel Miranda a few months later to be a part of the very first reading of Act 2, there was no way I was throwing away my opportunity. I prepared like I'd never prepared before. I loved this work of art long before I ever got to experience it from the inside. My goal was to show Lin how I felt about his work through my preparation. You see, we are speaking to the world around us all the time, speaking even before we utter a sound. Your clients, your patients, your coworkers, your bosses will respond to the conscientious way in which you prepare for interactions with them. You've begun the quiet, humble process already, after all, right here. You read and invented and wrote and dreamed of the world you will now endeavor to build. You've prepared and made your intentions known. May it continue from here. For 2 years, every single night, I stepped on stage to deliver my portion of that sermon that Lin-Manuel had spent the better part of 6 years writing. My only intention was to usher the people who'd mortgaged their houses for a ticket to the maximum emotional catharsis available in the room on that day. To help guide them, and when I did my job right, myself, to all the poetry and beauty and great potential within each one of us. I know this to be true. When you locate and display your genius and your greatness, you immediately give someone who's witnessing the permission to do the same. You inspire greatness with your greatness. And we all fall short. As hard as we try, there are gaps in our knowledge. We find that there are limits to our stamina and brute strength. Your intention will stand in the gap of your shortfall. I'm a new dad, and thank you. Thank you. That applause really should be for my wife. I did not much. But my little girl is 2 years old, and early in her life, you know, we were just all about like respecting her little personhood, you know, and there was this, I found this sort of curious thing that was happening. She learned the word no quite early, right? And she's so cute. And so people would ask her questions to hear her say no, you know. Lucy, can I give you a kiss? No. Lucy, can I give you a hug? No. And they would, you know, give her a little hug or a kiss anyway, and it bothered me and my wife. And so one night we kind of talked about it, and we said, you know, we need to tell the family, if Lucy says no, you have to respect that. I mean, I know she's 14 months, but we need to teach her early that when she says no, that has to be respected. And listen, if you don't want to know the answer, she's 2. Don't ask her. Just give her a hug. Give her a kiss. For right now, that's okay. But, you know, we're so worried already about the way we may injure her in the future, what scar we might unintentionally leave on our little girl that she's gonna spend years from healing from. It's enough to drive you to drink, but I focus on my intention. I'm familiar now with the circle of life and how becoming a parent helps you understand the way you were parented in the way you could never before. I place my faith in the highest possible intentions in all things these days, in raising my kid, in choosing my projects, recording music, in making speeches that I suspect will be forgotten. I hope you will do the same. We have so much work to do, class of 2019. Thank you so much.
Leslie, thank you for your thoughtful words. What an inspiring example you have set for our graduates. We are so proud of all that you have accomplished. Let's hear another round of applause for our extraordinary keynote speaker, Leslie Odom Jr. Our 110,000 alumni in 130 countries are well represented in the university community by the Carnegie Mellon Alumni Association. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of our Alumni Association Board, Alex DeClaudio. Alex holds a bachelor's degree from the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Science. There is more. And a master's degree from the Heinz College of Information Systems and Public Policy. In true CMU fashion, his career has spanned multiple industries and disciplines. Today, he's a film, television, theater producer who also works in freelance project management as president and CEO of a tech startup. Please join me in welcoming Alex DeClaudio to the podium.
Thank you, Farnham. Hello, class of 2019, and congratulations. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here to celebrate with all of you and to be among the first to welcome you officially into our alumni family. Leslie, if there's even a chance they're going to forget what you said, they're definitely not even going to hear what I'm about to say. But thank you for being here with us and for sharing your thoughtful remarks. And I'd like to congratulate you and all of the honorary degree recipients. I'd now like to ask that all fellow CMU alumni who are here with us today to please stand or wave. Come on, I know there are a lot of you out here, board members. Thank you for being here with us. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2019 and welcoming them to our alumni community. In a few moments, your degrees will be officially conferred by President Jahanian, and you will take that final step from being Carnegie Mellon students to becoming Carnegie Mellon alumni. My own journey as a CMU alum began 10 years ago when I was sitting where all of you are now, excited to be getting my degree and looking forward to what would happen next in life, but a bit apprehensive about venturing out into the world. Luckily, as I went on to change cities, jobs, and even careers, I was always able to rely on fellow Tartans for support and friendship. Friends from Scotch and Soda Theater and the Kilty Band inspired me through their examples to get involved in the Alumni Association as a way to stay connected and to give back to a community that I felt had given me so much. It has been one of the great honors of my life to serve as president of the CMU Alumni Association, especially during this year when it is celebrating its centennial. Our Alumni Association exists to keep CMU connected with its graduates and also to help you stay connected with each other. We are linked by a common experience, whether you've been an alum for a few minutes or a few decades. That is why so many of us are here today, to support all of you. It is my firm hope that each of you will continue to build a lifelong relationship with your fellow alumni and with Carnegie Mellon, one based on intellectual curiosity, a willingness to tackle difficult problems, a spirit of optimism, and passion for keeping your heart in the work. We look forward to hearing about and celebrating all your future successes and achievements, and we're so proud of all of you. If today seems like the end of your journey with Carnegie Mellon, then I would propose that you reframe that notion. Today is the end of the first chapter, and most of the journey still lies ahead of you. And the alumni community that you are joining are your fellow travelers on that road, ready to help and support you as you venture out into the world. I hope all of you will fully avail yourselves of this incredible association of which you are about to be the newest members. On behalf of the Alumni Association Board and more than 113,000 Carnegie Mellon alumni worldwide, welcome to the family and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, for your remarks and for your leadership and for being an outstanding representative for all CMU alumni. Class of 2019, during your time here, you have seen our campus go through transformative changes. The expansion of our Cohen University Center and its infamous stone cages. A new Scott Hall, Tepper Quad, countless classroom renovations. Even Ween Hall got an upgrade at La Prima. But of course, to keep you from making more improvements, we had to install a camera in the service elevator of Ween Hall. Sorry to ruin your fun. You each have left an indelible mark on this community. You learned deeply and daily, inside and outside the classroom. You demonstrated what interdisciplinary learning and discovery in the 21st century looks like. And you were there for each other during the times of celebration and also during times of loss, both on our campus and in the broader community after the tragedy at Tree of Life. Through your acts of empathy and inclusion, you helped to shine a bright light through moments of darkness. By surrounding each other in comfort, you reaffirmed our commitment to our core values of inclusion, respect, and compassion. And you also illuminated ways our community could do better in prioritizing a healthy mind, body, and spirit, which is the foundation of the CMU experience. From mentoring local high school students in financial literacy, to using the power of the arts to connect with the homeless in community in Pittsburgh, to chartering planes to aid hurricane victims in Puerto Rico. Your community engagement brought awareness to important issues and made a difference. You brought passion and thoughtfulness to everything you did, whether it was building an amusement park ride in Skibo Gym, performing in sold-out performance of Cabaret, designing and leading stucco classes on the cultural meaning of Marvel films and principles of race car engineering and so on, or conducting research at the intersection of technology and humanity, such as writing programming languages for blockchain and exploring novel approaches for biofabricating organs. Listen, I even have to admire the diligence you showed in campaigning to close our campus during the polar vortex. If family members are wondering, yes, it did work. And by the way, students, you're welcome. You also tried to rename Carnival to Farnival
And that did not work. Through your examples, you made a community others want to join. You were instrumental in making our Welcome Center a thriving hub on campus and drawing the largest number of applications in the university's history. The class of 2019, I want to thank you for making CMU better. Now it is your time to unleash your extraordinary energy and the skills on the vast opportunities ahead of you. Before we confer your degrees, it is tradition for the president to deliver a charge to graduates. I'll keep it short. One final set of instructions for how to maximize the power of your newly minted CMU degrees. The incomparable CMU professor and Nobel laureate Herb Simon once said, "We're not spectators of the future, we're actors of the future." You may be wondering how exactly you become an actor of the future. Well, first of all, listen to Leslie. While I don't have all the answers, I want to offer 3 guiding principles to help you embrace Professor Simon's philosophy. First, be relentless in your pursuit of knowledge. Being educated doesn't simply mean getting a degree and then sitting back. Rather, it requires that you constantly rekindle the fires of your curiosity and stay engaged in the evolution of new ideas. Don't be afraid to expand your horizons. When the landscape shifts beneath you, make the world your classroom, your canvas, your laboratory, your stage. Second, seek out perspectives other than your own. By exploring different identities and experiences, you will create better ideas and stronger solutions. Along the way, you will encounter ideas that will challenge you. Even if you consider those ideas wrong or perhaps offensive, the remedy is not less conversation, but more conversation. Ideas are not defeated by suppression, they are defeated by better, more persuasive ideas. I urge you to embrace and defend the free expression of ideas. Freedom of expression is the foundation of our democracy. My third and last piece of advice is perhaps the most important of all, and it may in fact surprise you. Embrace empathy, compassion, and respect as the foundation of your life. Today, you celebrate the culmination of many years of hard work and determination. Continue to create opportunities for yourself, of course, but at the same time, be mindful of the connections that link us to one another. Think about all the people who have contributed to your success today, directly or indirectly, whether the professors, coaches, advisors, friends, family members, and so on. Remember to enrich the lives of others in this same way and create opportunities for those who follow you. Class of 2019, you all possess the training and intellect to be impactful actors of the future. I am truly excited for you, and I am excited for the future which you hold in your hands. Thank you for allowing me to share this moment with you, and on behalf of the entire CMU community, congratulations, class of 2019.
Thank you, President Jahanian, for those inspiring and uplifting words. I too am so proud of what the class of 2019 has already achieved, and I know in my heart that each of you will produce amazing accomplishments in everything that you are inspired to do. You will be intentional. We will now begin the formal conferral of degrees for all students who have duly completed the requirements of their programs to the satisfaction and approval of their faculty members. The commencement program lists every student's degree and areas of study, which will be called out and celebrated at the departmental diploma ceremonies. I encourage the families and friends to look and listen beyond just your own graduates' listing. Get a sense of the unique educational environment at Carnegie Mellon and the many unique interdisciplinary pursuits, minors, areas of expertise that make this institution so distinctive and this graduating class so exceptional. I want to begin by acknowledging the achievements of this year's group of doctoral candidates. These outstanding scholars received their academic hoods at a special ceremony yesterday afternoon. In earning their doctorates, they have made a commitment to a life of scholarly pursuits and have reaffirmed the importance and prominence of Carnegie Mellon as one of the nation's premier research universities. I invite the doctorate degree candidates to please rise and be recognized. In addition, please be seated. Thank you. In addition, we are pleased today to officially confer bachelor's degrees to students graduating from Carnegie Mellon University, Qatar. These students earn degrees from the Dietrich College, the Mellon College of Science, the School of Computer Science, and the Tepper School of Business. At this time, I would like to recognize the Dean of Carnegie Mellon University, Qatar, Michael Trick. Mike, thank you for all that you have done. Mike, thank you for all that you have done to set CMUQ on a course for continued excellence. Thank you. Okay, now for the big moment. Candidates, I'm now going to give you some directions on how this is going to work. Okay? We will ask degree candidates from each college to stand and be recognized as you're called upon by your dean. You will then sit down. But when you stand, let's hear your enthusiasm as your deans call you. Are you with me? You're from Carnegie Mellon. I expect a certain ability here. So, but if you're not with me, just follow the person sitting next to you. So when all schools and colleges have been recognized, I will then ask all students to stand again, at which time President Jahanian will formally confer your degrees. So here we go, let's have some fun. I'm now going to call on each dean of each school or college to present his or her candidates for degrees. President Jahanian, please join me by the podium. Thank you. To begin, I now recognize John Kagan, Interim Dean of the College of Engineering.
Will all the candidates from the College of Engineering please rise? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of our faculty, I have the honor of presenting the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral candidates from the College of Engineering. Will the new College of Engineering graduates please be seated?
I now recognize the Dean of the College of Fine Arts, Dan Martin.
Will all the candidates from the College of Fine Arts please rise? President, Mr. President, upon the recommendation of our faculty, I'm honored to present the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral candidates from the College of Fine Arts. Please be seated. Thank you.
I now recognize the Dean of the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Richard Shyness.
Will the candidates from the Dietrich College please rise? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of their parents, my faculty, I have the honor of presenting bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree candidates from the Mariana Brown Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Please be seated.
Just to be clear, it was really only on the basis of your faculty recommendations. I now recognize the Dean of the Heinz College, Ramaya Krishna.
Will all the candidates from the Heinz College please rise? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of our faculty, I have the honor of presenting the master's and doctoral student candidates from the Heinz College. Please be seated.
I now recognize the Dean of the Mellon College of Science, Rebecca Dorge.
Mellon College of Science, are you out there? Please stand up. Are you out there? Mr. President,
They're a slow burn.
Mr. President, on behalf of and recommendation of our faculty, I have the honor of presenting bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree candidates from the Mellon College of Science. Congratulations, you guys. Well, the best college in the whole university, Mellon College of Science, please be seated.
I now recognize the Interim Dean of the School of Computer Science, Tom Mitchell.
Will the students about to graduate from the School of Computer Science please rise? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of our faculty, it is my distinct honor to present to you these candidates for the bachelor's, master's, and PhD degree from the School of Computer Science. Please be seated.
I now recognize the Dean of the Tepper School of Business, Robert Damon.
That's the first time I've heard that. Well, in the words of our commencement speaker, and the advice of our commencement speaker, Dr. Leslie Odom, let's make this intentional. Will all the candidates from the Tepper School of Business please rise? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of our esteemed faculty, I have the honor of presenting the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree candidates from the Tepper School of Business. Will the new Tepper School graduates please be seated?
Carnegie Mellon is proud to lead the world in interdisciplinary research and education and nurture several university-wide inter-college and joint degree programs within our university. On behalf of all of the deans and program directors, I will now present the candidates for degrees from these special programs. With the same intention, will all of the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree candidates in our interdisciplinary programs please rise? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of our faculty, I have the honor of presenting these candidates from our university-wide inter-college and joint degree programs. Please be seated. I didn't follow orders. Would all of the students now please stand once again for the official conferral of degrees by President Jahanian.
By the virtue of the authority granted to me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer these degrees upon these candidates with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. I am pleased to join the deans and the faculty of the entire university in congratulating you. Today, we are proud to officially call you the Class of 2019 CMU alumni. You know, before we wrap up, as some of you know, almost every Friday, I post a selfie on Instagram. #CMU Farnham, featuring a single CMU student. Before we wrap up, I'm wondering if the class of 2019 would do me a favor and take a quick selfie with me. And I am notoriously bad at this, so we're gonna take 2 pictures, one from this side, one from the other side. Do whatever you wanna do. This is your selfie. Now this side. Show them how it's done. Once again, congratulations on your outstanding accomplishments. Now, please remain standing as we conclude today's ceremony with a performance of the alma mater by the vocal performance class of 2019. We invite you to sing along, and the words on our alma mater can be found in your program.
Great, guys. Congratulations.
Can't go any faster here. It's all slow.
Hey, Jen. Jen. Hey, Burger.